Welcome, geeks, to another exciting episode of Rockin The Code World with dotNetDave. I'm David McCarter. I'm glad you're all here. And I had a question for you all first off the bat. How you doing? How's your weekend going? What do you do on the weekends? Please make a comment and let me know what you guys do on the weekend, especially those of you from around the world. It's going to be a nice, I think fall is finally here in San Diego, California. And as most of you know, that I live about a mile from the beach. And so when it's fall where I live, that means it's about mid 60s to like 72 degrees. That's our fall. So those of you, especially Mahesh, that lives where it snows, sorry about that. But it's always nice here. So come hang out anytime you want. You have a welcome invitation to come hang out with me at the beach any time of the year. So yeah, put a comment in there. Let me know what you guys do on the weekends. Oh, one of the other things, because I've been working on this, I'll show you this. This is one of my practice lists from when I play guitar. And this is just one set list I play every day on the weekends. And I play two. And this one is 1.7 hours long. You can see I've got a bunch of scribbles on there because I'm always trying to make sure, to make sure I got my, my amplifiers and effects all set up correctly. And so anyway, that's what I do on the weekends. I play guitar. So that's my fun. So anyway, let's get to the show. I have a special guest all the way from the Netherlands, which I think my guest last week was from the Netherlands. What's up with that? But anyway, there's more people in the Netherlands want to stay up late and be on my show. Please contact me. But anyway, if you know me, I'm not good at pronouncing names. So Joost Van Schaik, and hopefully I did that okay. And he's going to be on, and he's going to be talking about something we haven't talked about on the show, and that's mixed reality software. And so I saw some of the videos we're going to show you possibly today. They look really cool. He's going to be talking all about HoloLens. And so it should be exciting. It's, the HoloLens is one of those I was thinking about, one of those frameworks, one of the types of apps I've never done in my career. I've done pretty much every single other type of app, but I haven't done, virtual reality. So this is going to be a fun show. And so anyway, I hope you hang out for the rest of the show. I want to start off a little bit about talking about Facebook. Facebook went down earlier this week for almost 6 hours, and I was going, oh my God, what's people going to do without Facebook? Mahesh and I kind of talked about this yesterday on his Growth and Mindset show. So if you watch that show, you pretty much know my feelings about Facebook and social media, really. And so anyway, I kind of wanted to bring it up a little bit, not only because for two reasons. One is, don't put everything on the same domain or the same network. Come on, Facebook. You pay a lot of money for the people that work there. And your entire business went down because of one configuration change. Come on. Really? I was thinking about this morning, and I was thinking about back, I think the late 90s, early 2000s, I was a part of the original development department for proflowers.com. And, we were moving our servers onto a colo. We had them here in San Diego, and then we decided to put them in a very famous colo location in Texas. And I specifically remember talking to the people at this place in Texas, asking, do you have multiple T1 trunks coming into your building? And they said, yes. I said, okay, I feel good that, our app isn't going to go down. Well, one morning I came in and it was down. I was going, what the heck? And I got on the phone with these guys in Texas, and yeah, they had two T1 trunks coming into the building in the same trench. So some guy, of course, with a backhoe or something like that, cut both lines at the same time, and everything in the entire building went down. And so come on, Facebook, you should be a little bit smarter than that. And the other thing I want to say real quick, because I woke up this morning to frantic text from my children, because I posted on Facebook, I'm leaving Facebook, and they took it the wrong way. Okay, so I'm leaving Facebook. I'm not leaving the planet. Okay, so don't worry. I'm just leaving Facebook at the end of the month. So if you follow me on Facebook, make sure you follow me on Twitter or my website, because I'm deleting that thing. So anyway, enough about Facebook. I want to, because I know a lot of you don't hang out to the end of the show. I want to promote next week's show, which I haven't done before, because it's my first panel show. And it's going to feature 4 panelists besides me, all talking about Agile and how we think about Agile, if it's good, if it's bad. And this actually came up because of a new code rules that I did. And so I hope you join us for this first show. It's going to be longer. It's going to be about an hour and a half, possibly, maybe shorter. But I hope you'll come hang out next week and talk with all my friends who I really know about a lot more about Agile than I do. And including one is a certified Scrum Master. So I hope you'll come. Make sure you watch the show next week. Oh, yeah, that's the new code rules that I did that sparked this Agile thing. I also want to announce my new article on CSharpCorner. And the reason I'm doing it is because I'm really happy that it's getting about 2,000 reads a day. And if you know me, you know I don't care about the number. What I care about is helping people. And so that's just telling me, especially based on the comments, that I'm helping people. And that's my whole goal in writing on CSharpCorner. So I hope you'll check it out. Every .NET developer in the land needs to read this. Please, please, please. Okay? Because I'm tired of fixing your code because you could have prevented these issues. So please read this article. It's going to be a 3-part series, but the first one is there, and the next one will come out next week on CSharpCorner, of course. So I hope you check it out. Also, kind of based on what I was talking about in that article about disposable issues, make sure you pick up my David McCarter Coding Standards for Microsoft.NET, because I talk about that more in my book and lots of other great things that every developer needs to write good quality, readable code in .NET. So I hope you check out my book. I also started something this week that I've hesitated. I've actually wrote some of these stories about a year ago, and I've been hesitant about releasing them because this is my first delve into kind of fictional writing based on true stories. I've never done this before. I tell stories all the time in conferences and my show and things like that, but I haven't made up a fictional one. So anyway, my fictional character is a guy called Inspector Cody. He's kind of like the superhero. He's actually one of the 5 super coders in the world. And he lives in Interopolis, and he has a special drink named after him. And he is defender of code quality and software engineers around the world and the universe. So I hope you'll check out this first story, which kind of sets up who Inspector Cody is. I will tell you, for especially you younger people out there into comics and things like that, we do plan to make a comic of this too. And also, Inspector Cody has a sidekick, and her name is Private Cookie. So you'll be hearing stories about Private Cookie and the adventures, both of us together, and then separate stories too. So anyway, I hope you check it out. And this show is for you. So please ask questions. You get out of the show, put what you put into it, and that's by asking questions. And so don't be shy. It's okay. There's no dumb questions. Just ask whatever you want, especially with a subject like this. So please ask questions. And with that, I'm going to bring on my guest, Joost Van Schaik. Joost has been developing professionally for close to 29 years, first in the geographical information systems. Wow. Later in web and mobile development, he delved into the third dimension and Unity with HoloLens 1 and appeared on the horizon. He's has been a Microsoft MVP since 2011. He claims, and he's got a blog that started in 2007, contains quite a lot of information, of course, on mixed reality. He's also very occasionally speaks in conferences and online events. He has made some contributions to the it's early mixed reality toolkit. So anyway, welcome, Joost.
Hello, Dave. Nice to you to have me on. I hope things go right. During your intro, somebody started drilling here with a jackhammer on the other side of the wall, the neighbors. So I hope this. I've sent I texted my wife. Please, promise them everything they want. if they stop drilling for an hour. Thank you.
Yeah. That a couple of months ago, my neighbors down below me decided to, remodel their kitchen 2 weekends in a row right when I started the show. So I had to put up a little slide going, if you hear something, it's my neighbors.
Okay, I hope it works out. I'm glad I opted for this headset instead of the freestanding microphone.
Yeah. So I don't hear anything, but
no, me neither. Not now.
Yeah. So how's it going? How's the weather where you live in the Netherlands?
Well, I only know how to report this in the Celsius degrees. So this is 16 degrees, about 16 degrees. We had a few days of sun and before a lot of rain. We have the same weather as in. I don't know. I don't know exactly where you live, but if you live in the neighborhood of Seattle, then it's kind of like that weather.
Okay. No, I live far, far, far south. I'm like right next to Mexico.
Oh, poor you.
I know.
No.
Well, started about the border and all that shenanigans going on down there.
Yeah. Okay. Think Seattle weather. That's what we have here.
Okay. So when's the snow start there?
Hopefully never. Sometimes, usually late in the winter. But we go winters without snow, fortunately, because I hate the stuff.
Yeah, I grew up in snow and I like to visit it, but I don't like to live in it. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I go visit my brother who lives in the snow, and that's enough for me.
Yeah, me too. I know it's nice to see on television or maybe to do on I'm also not a big in winter sports or something. So no.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay.
I used to ski. I used to actually live in a ski resort, like in the middle of California, and so I actually skied a lot when it was snowing up there. But when it snowed there, it was like, 15 feet high drifts and things like that. It was crazy snow. That's too much.
Exactly.
And I think one winter when I was a kid, they were making T-shirts. I survived the winter of 200 and some odd inches of snow. And I'm going, yeah, that's enough for me. I'm out. I like building forts and stuff in it when I was a kid, but yeah, it's too cold. That's why I live by the beach.
Like I said, poor you.
Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about HoloLens. What's going on with HoloLens? And I know we have some videos we might share with people to show some of the cool stuff that you've been doing and other people have been doing. I've watched the videos already. And so what's up? What's going on with HoloLens?
Well, as you might know, we are now in the second iteration of HoloLens, at HoloLens 2. If you can see it there lying right behind me, about there. Well, I've been developing for HoloLens since HoloLens 1, basically, since I had my first HoloLens on my head on an MVP summit in 2015 in Redmond. I don't know if I saw you there. I distinctly remember seeing you playing the guitar a few years earlier in the stadium with that. I even recognized the hat you were wearing on the video. Let me, by the way, congratulate you on the most by far the coolest intro of a show I've ever seen.
Thank you. Yeah,
it really rocks. So
yeah, actually, the lead guitarist in that song will be one of my panelists next week. Everybody,
okay.
so that's a whole band of geeks, right? It's all software engineers. So it's and one of my friends is the drummer is actually in 2 bands that actually plays out a lot here in San Diego.
Awesome.
And he's all, not only is an awesome software engineer, but he's awesome drummer. He plays just like John Bonham of Led Zeppelin.
Oh wow!
Without being drunk and
and on drugs
and all that. Yeah, on drugs.
Okay. Well, back to HoloLens then. Well, HoloLens, why it's so much fun to do? I can talk about it forever. I mean, it's like, did you ever wear a HoloLens?
I've never worn. Nope. I've never even tried one. Yeah.
Okay, you really should. You really should.
I want to. I want to.
Don't. Well, yeah. The problem is you live on the other side of the world, so that's a bit hard to realize from here. It's really hard to explain, but imagine instead of that you develop something that moves on the screen, you can move around you. You can touch it. You can manipulate it. You escape from the screen, literally.
Yeah.
I remember seeing this, and my mind started really racing. Like, oh, the possibilities here. I immediately saw the first app I made. I hope you don't hear someone hammering now.
I don't.
Great. I lost track because of hammer. Oh yeah, you've stuff flying around you, making 3D maps. I was already thinking of, oh my god, I can project like the tracks in the electrical wires in the floor, but you can see. Well, okay, it turned out a little bit more, and I had to learn a lot. First of all, the fun thing is the code you write is in C#. That's a net win. I mean, no, exactly. If you know C#, you're halfway.
Yeah.
The other halfway is Unity. Unity is a gaming engine. It's a really, really weird thing if you're not used to it. It's like it's a gaming engine. You work with scenes there. You have graphical elements in, and on that you put behaviors, and that's where I hooked on because I already had done a lot in XAML. I was an MVP in Windows Phone, So I was like, okay, I have a kind of feeling with it. Then I followed a creative coding class by Rick Baraza. I forgot what it calls. Baraza. This is now from 2016, so a bit dated, but it's still kind of valid. And then it started to click with me. So then I started to make stuff. I learned it's alien to learn. I mean, if you're and then you have to. Microsoft makes in the beginning it was really hard because you have to do everything yourself, and Microsoft recognized that. So they built first. They called it the Holo Toolkit. And later the mixed reality toolkit because it went more or less cross-platform. And the mixed reality toolkit is like this giant bag of stuff you can use to much easier build HoloLens apps. It contains a lot of user interface elements. The problem is if you design a website, if you design a mobile app, there's all these kinds of conventions. Give a kid a phone and he starts long pressing, or he starts swiping, or she starts tapping buttons, or whatever. The kids know how to do that, and we know that as well. Imagine you are now transported back to 2006, and you get a modern day touch phone in your hand. What the heck? This is a situation we landed in 2015 on the HoloLens. Nobody had a clue how to. Okay, now we have this awesome device. How we're going to make an interaction model? So Microsoft tried to do that, and I think they, especially with HoloLens 2 and Mixed Reality Toolkit, they worked really well because they just built on things. I mean, if you want to do something, there's a button floating. You can just push it with your finger, and it reacts.
Yeah.
Like if you see something in the space and you want to move it, you grab it. It sticks to your hand. You move it away. Yeah. So that really works.
I once worked for a company that we did we used Unity for the main application for the machine that we sold, and we actually hired 2 Unity developers from Disney, and so they were working on our application. But yeah, Unity is there's a learning curve there for sure,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, and to make that easier on ourselves, because
Yeah.
the problem is Unity developers are usually game developers, and they are
Right.
making,
Right.
and a lot of this, and you can see that by how Unity works itself, is I wouldn't directly call it throwaway software, but it's really hard to maintain if you stuff.
Yeah.
If you ever have seen the canonical VB6 app, where everything is in logic, every logic is in UI elements, and it jumps from here to there to everywhere, that's your
Yeah.
typical Unity application.
Yeah.
That's I learned the hard way. So another thing I would like to recommend is not only to use the mixed reality toolkit, because it also brings some things we enterprise developers, but because that's what I actually am. I'm an enterprise developer who learned Unity as a shell around his apps. That introduces stuff like dependency injection, and you can define services, and you can call, and then you can do stuff like mocking and unit tests and all the stuff we are used to do. This makes life a little bit harder for the real Unity developer, but yeah, we're not making games here. We're making business apps. And the apps I now make together with my colleagues are basically one ball of business logic with a layer of Unity on top.
Yeah.
And we have to train the Unity developers. We sometimes hire the real Unity developers, like, okay, but you need to adhere to the architecture, or else this will spiral into, well, the proverbial big ball of VB6, but then in Unity. I learned this the hard way in my first app, because I made that the Unity way. All the tutorials show it. That's how you do it. And when I wanted to change something, I was like, I made this myself like 3 months ago. How the hell does this work? What was I thinking?
Yeah.
Because all the
ahead.
logic is done in graphics, so you cannot put comments to it or whatever. You can't call this. You really lose track very quickly.
Yeah. So there's a lot of applications, I think, for the HoloLens, and especially being somebody older, I'm really kind of interested in how it pans out, how they're going to use a device like the HoloLens for not only older people to maintain their cognitive thoughts and things like that, but also disabled people, right? I think there's a lot of applications for these types of applications in the future, right?
Oh yeah, I've been dreaming about a HoloLens without a visor to use the spatial sounds and the camera, the tracking cameras, to make a kind of companion for like people with visual who are visually impaired.
Yeah.
But that's, I learned, I've dabbled with things on the hackathon, and then I learned from real blind people that the scariest thing are not things you walk into, but things you can fall into. By things you cannot, you that are not there, that are supposed to there. Things that are there, you walk into, ouch, okay. But if you drop into a manhole, that's a little bit less fun usually.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's companies out there, I don't want to give them ideas, but I'm sure Facebook is probably working on this, where, Facebook will be in the HoloLens, and, then nobody will leave their homes then,
Well, I could tell you, in the COVID times, my Walk the World app was pretty popular, because you could actually go anywhere you wanted without leaving your home.
Yeah. So we have a question already, which is great. So those of you, please make sure you ask questions. In how many years do you see the HoloLens will get saturated across walks of life with its applications?
What do you? I'm not really sure what you mean. Will get saturated across walks of life.
Well, it's like maybe everybody will be using them, I guess. Maybe that's what he means. Is that correct? He can make a comment, but it takes a little bit for the comments to come in.
Okay. So basically, the question is how long before the HoloLens is like
everybody has one. Yeah.
I think that may take a while, because it's especially a device as full-fledged as the HoloLens.
Yeah.
Because I think you will see cheaper devices like this glasses that have this very, very limited things, but not as full featured as the HoloLens with this complete 3D tracking cameras and stuff like that. That might take a lot longer, I think.
Yeah. I think I think the rollout of something like virtual reality like this is going to be quite a slow move. I think there's a lot of work that has to be done. That stuff isn't easy, right?
No.
Putting stuff in the air and having people click on it and having to get reliably click on that location. I mean, that's got to be tougher than writing business software.
And there has to be a case for it. I mean,
yeah.
If you look at the success of the smartphone, are all these kinds of small apps which you can do fun things with. What is the case for the consumer version of a HoloLens? I mean, as a business, I can think of hundreds of scenarios.
Yeah.
I mean, we as my company, the startup I am working for, it's not my company. We have specialized in training stuff. Like, for instance, we do CPR and training how to douse a fire. I mean, if you
that's one of the videos you have, right?
Yeah. Maybe it's a fun idea to show people an example of what you can do with the HoloLens. Would it be a good moment now?
Sure. You want to do the one with the fire extinguisher?
No, the fire extinguisher, not the CPR one.
Oh, the CPR one. Do you want to show that, Simon? Give everybody kind of a look at what the HoloLens can do.
So the idea is you learn to train CPR without a trainer. Well, there is a trainer, but that's a volumetric video. On the right side, you see what a student sees, the student from outside, and you see what the student does. So he needs to follow a practice. Yeah, that's in Dutch, unfortunately. So now he said what you would do. The first of the protocol is shake the victim. If he is awake, no, he's not awake, he's not remembering. So what the next step is, you should call it that it talks to you. You should now call a 911. Well, this is Dutch. In the Netherlands, we call 112. If the app runs in English, it shows 911.
Yeah.
Okay, now you have to put the phone on speakerphone, put it on. And it goes on like this. Then let's see. Oh yeah, now you have to check if the patient is actually breathing. Then you have to lift the head. It says exactly how to do that. All right, you have lifted the head. And now you have to do three things. You have to listen to the breathing. You have to watch the breast. And you have to still lift the chin. So it gives you a heads-up display showing that you're doing it right. You have to do this for 8. Sometimes the patient is still breathing, then you actually heard the sound coming from the mouth of the student, because the HoloLens supports spatial sound. Okay, so our patient is not breathing. So now we're going to learn you exactly how to do CPR. The doll, the mannequin, is connected via Bluetooth, so the HoloLens knows. You get a little hut. Like, okay, so am I pressing fast enough, deep enough, and with the right rhythm? It gives a little pom, 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 pom. This is the guided practice where you basically don't know anything how to do. It's just takes you hand by hand. Okay, so now it says you should now do the rescue breath.
This is really cool, because I learned the hard way when I was in the Navy. This would have been much easier.
Yeah, the fun thing is you can practice this over and over and over again. You know, because okay, now we get the fun stuff. This is the AAD. I don't know the English word. Is defibrillator correct?
A defibrillator.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Exactly. Yeah. So in real life, it's really hard to test or train with these devices because you can use them only once.
Right.
Then they need to be cleaned, repacked, recharged, and this is a virtual thing. It works just like the real thing. And you can use it over and over again. And that's the idea of the app, to use it over and over and over again.
Wow.
Because you know,
look, you cut off the person's shirt. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the video this far, so
okay. So now we get to the electrodes. Well, in real life there are wires attached to it, but okay, the first one you need to put on the chest, and the other one you need on the side. Okay, and if you now would hear the sound, it would say, okay, I'm analyzing, please don't touch the victim. If you touch the victim, you get an error message. So it's all like, it's giving you direct feedback on what you're doing. And the fun thing of this is, this device doesn't get tired like a trainer. You know, usually when you do these kinds of trainings, like in the Netherlands, we have these health and safety officers. in every company, and they learn like once every year they go on training for 2 days, and then they have their check mark, and it's fine. Well, half a year later, a colleague gets a heart attack. And I don't know if you remember them from the Navy, how much time you actually have to get started.
No,
But we
I forgot all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point.
Yeah.
So have they. In three minutes, we're talking brain damage.
Yeah.
In 9 minutes, we're talking irreversible brain damage.
Yeah.
In 10 minutes, we call,
yeah.
And in 10 minutes is, maybe we should just directly call the undertaker instead of the paramedics.
Yeah.
You have so little time. You have to know what to do. You have to start immediately. Okay.
This kind of reminds me of, some of the sci-fi shows I watch is like The Expanse or, like the new Picard, Star Trek Picard.
Yep.
And so this is the beginning of that, right?
Yep.
The way they run their, fly their ships and, look at maps and things like that. This is the beginning. This is the infant. It just was born. Right.
Yeah, but we sell this. This is being used.
Yeah.
This is no science fiction. This is real.
Right.
You saw maybe the end was a bit funny. There was like, okay, we need a funny ending, so I make this toy ambulance that drives into view. Hooray, you have succeeded. And then you have the next level you can do without the guided practice. And if you're really good, and if you're really good, you can do the exam. You can get recertified. So instead of that, you have to take all these people off roster. You can, if you're on a night shift and everybody is sleeping, you can get recertified. You take the HoloLens, you put on, you connect it to them. If you know your stuff, you can get recertified in 50 minutes. If you need to practice, well, you can practice anytime you want, as long as you have a HoloLens. So we see this in hospitals or maybe in companies, or people can rent these things for a time. Yeah. This is, I think, in training, because you can let things go horribly wrong without any consequences. Yeah.
Yeah. Or you're not hurting somebody, right? You practice on, before they had those fake dummies, right? You have to like pretend on somebody for real.
Yeah.
Right. And so you can't really do that without hurting somebody at some point, right? And that's probably why they came up with the dummies. And so now this is, that looks really awesome. And your company does this?
Yeah, I have been building this together with now 4 colleagues in about a year, I think.
Yeah.
We started out in May or July last year, in the middle of COVID. I jumped ship and jumped on board together with closely followed by a colleague from the mixed reality community in the Netherlands. And now we have 2 younger developers as well aboard. So we're growing because we have.
So everybody out there, make sure you ask questions about mixed reality. Come on, we only got 1 question so far. Oh, Simon did one. I just blow over Simon's comments. What are your thoughts on Oculus from Facebook?
Oh, well, I must say I don't own Oculus. For what I've seen and heard, it's a very interesting device. They have another approach, the different approach. Instead of projecting stuff in reality, they are projecting the reality in their stuff. So basically, you're always looking at a camera view. Yeah, the scary stuff, of course, it's Facebook. So
that's one of the reasons I'm leaving Facebook, is because
I'm still thinking about that.
It's becoming too big of a scary monster to me. If even half of what people are saying are true, I don't want to help a business like that. I got to draw the line somewhere. But let's see. Yeah, Oculus. Yeah. So I'm sure Facebook is working on something like this to suck more people into their platform. So,
Well,
is there any other big players out there besides Facebook and Microsoft?
No. There was Magic Leap was there. Leap. Yeah, Magic Leap or Leap Motion. I always keep, but they. Yeah, that kind of got quiet. I don't know if you've seen that. They had these fantastic images of a whale jumping out of a floor, and it turned Magic Leap. Thank you, Simon. Stefan. I mean, so Yeah, it's no, there is still no real competition. And in one thing, I'm like a Microsoft MVP. I'm a bit proud about that. But the other thing is, maybe there should be competition because competition drives innovation. And
Right. Yeah. If there's not a lot of competitors, there's not a lot of innovation, for sure.
Microsoft is also light years ahead of the competition. Really,
Yeah.
I mean, there is nothing that comes close to HoloLens. Really, especially HoloLens 2.
Well, I'm just waiting until they're like small enough for a contact lens I can just pop in and walk around. It's like that guy, the one of the characters on the Doom Patrol. He's got one of his eyes is a machine, and so he sees all this onboard kind of stuff, and he's got a computer that's part of his thing, and everything projects inside of his eye, right? So yeah. That's coming someday, a long time from now, but it's going to come.
Yeah. Well, and
yeah, holographic technology. Yep.
Yeah, even Google Cardboard, Stefan Simon is a good start, but it's like,
Google Cardboard is a virtual reality thing.
Virtual reality is something different. People keep mixing it up. Virtual reality is you're locked out of your environment. Mixed reality is so fun.
Mixed reality, yeah.
Yeah, if I set up, it's like I set up a few glasses, I still see you.
Yeah,
well, I can, if I really am like a bad developer, I mess up with a lot of stuff in my visor. I can really make it hard for you to see reality, but they are making a bad app.
Hey, Google, Cardboard is not a good product name.
No,
I'm sorry. It's already, it's been taken, right? Google Cardboard, if someone told me, I didn't even know what that was. I had to ask, because what? Cardboard? Come on.
Yeah, but there is a lot of stuff happening in mixed reality. Only the problem is you don't see so much because not very much companies are making products. They're all making closed apps. I mean, I've been working with my former colleague on an application that did deck marking. You have these giant ships that transport very big loads on top of their decks, and what they did was then they have to weld special struts on the ships to prevent them from dropping off.
Right.
And they made very big drawings in AutoCAD, and then they walked then on the ship with tape measures and laser measures, and they basically took 2 days to draw the plan on top of the ship, and then only the welders could get started. So we built something like we load that app into that drawing in a HoloLens, we project it on top of the ship in real life.
Yeah.
And then you take a Sharpie and you walk over to magenta lines and you were done in 2 hours instead of 2 days,
Yeah.
But that's...
Well, someone asked, where can I buy cardboard? I've got some old Amazon boxes here if you want cardboard.
Yeah, I don't think that's what.
Sorry, I'm going to make fun of that as much as I can because that's who came up. Okay, don't get me started going down the rabbit hole of goofy things.
Okay, I'm also very good at that. Yeah, another thing we did was like there was this company that made giant scaffolding. And I don't mean the thing they built to paint the second floor of your house, but like 50, 80 meters high to do maintenance on chemical plants and stuff like that. So we projected these things into the HoloLens so they can see them for real on place and see if their design actually worked, because the plans don't always match to the design and stuff. But these are things you cannot show for public. That's unfortunately.
Yeah.
But what thing we can do? I mean, we also have a little application, but that's not really that's not ready yet, but it's in development that shows people how to extinguish fires, and you can always do that. You can also do things horribly wrong. Well, things that are much too dangerous to do in real life.
Well, so, if you want to show that next, I could tell you that I learned how to extinguish fires with real fire, and let me tell you, that is scary. I'm sorry. When they light a big thing full of like petrol or gas or something on, and you have to run over there, and this was at work. right? I had to run over there and put it out, with the fire extinguishers. I was deathly afraid that I was going to kill somebody or myself.
Well, that is with our app. Is it not possible to kill? Yeah, maybe you can die of fright, but that's about. So maybe it's nice. It's a very short video. I show how to in that video. I show how to do put out the fire and how to not put out the fire.
Yeah.
Maybe that's nice to show. Maybe if Simon can show that one. Yeah. So this is the. Oh, this. Okay. It's a bit slow on this side.
Yeah, StreamYard might be having a problem with it.
Okay, I heard the sound, but the view is not actually.
Yeah, that might be too many frame rates for StreamYard, I think.
Oh yeah, it doesn't show anything.
Yeah, Simon, probably should turn this one off. That's not working out.
Okay, but I'm afraid.
Dang StreamYard's got a fixed frame rate, which is, I don't understand why they do that. Nobody else does, from what Simon tells me. So, do you want to try another one? Is there another one?
Yeah, I'm afraid they might be the same. They're all the same frame rate, I'm afraid.
Oh.
Hey, now it works.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's odd. Okay, so now I first take I have 4 extinguishers, CO2, and a foam extinguisher, which is the right one for this fire.
Right.
So I can make It's in Dutch, but that doesn't matter. Well, hooray, you have done the fire. Now let's try exactly the same extinguisher on a frying pan. Now, I don't know if you ever seen this done by the fire brigade. They sometimes
don't do that, right?
Yeah, but you can do this in this app. This gives a very graphic demonstration that we hope the student actually will understand. This is something you should not do.
Close up.
Okay, now you see these weird. You see these weird black effects. That's the funny thing. If you draw something black in HoloLens, well, black is no light, so you don't see it. But the camera doesn't know that, so that draws. It's really fun. It's a really fun effect. But so now you can basically teach people how to extinguish these fires.
And this is. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, this app is really still in development, but.
Yeah, but see, that seems really cool. That hey, if you got 5 minutes to kill, why don't you learn how to put out a fire? Because again, when I was in the Navy, I was actually on the official fire team for the ship I was on. So I had to go to specialized training where we went into a building that was on fire with fire hoses, and we had to put it out. That kind of training, right? And which I didn't like that.
Yeah, well,
but what I wanted to say was that there are different fires have different ways of putting it out, and if you try to put out one out with the wrong one, you're going to make it worse and make it explode, like you showed in the video. Yeah. So
yeah, there are also the results. I didn't think that, but there are also this really deceptive things, like if you use a CO2 extinguisher on a frying pan, it seems to work. The only thing is it doesn't. So as soon as your extinguisher is empty, then the fire seems to be out, and then it starts again.
Yeah.
Or all these deceptive things. Well, if you have a fluid fire, that's also in there, and you start water, the puddle of burning stuff actually gets bigger.
Right, explodes, right?
Yeah, so you don't want to do that. So this is
put oil. I mean, you put water on boiling oil, then it's not going to be a good result.
Yeah, I initially had a big explosion, but they found that a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I almost clicked on the wrong button. You're still here. Great.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe something else funny can I have some other fun videos, short videos that show. These are not work-related stuff. In the beginning, I made just some stuff just for fun. I made an app that shows the air traffic around Atlanta, Hartsfield, Jackson live. Well, this is not live, of course, because it's a video, but it was a video from last week. It's a very short video. I hope that one works better.
Okay. You want to play that one, Simon?
Yeah, that works fine. This is also a
No,
bit
maybe not.
odd because the second time it works.
Yeah, why don't you try it again? Maybe it'll work.
How odd.
Twice. It's like you don't buy the first Microsoft version of something, right? You have to wait till the second one.
This is really odd because this
Yeah,
is just.
It might be a StreamYard problem. I'm sure it is, probably. No, it's still not working. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see it a little bit. You can see the airplanes.
Yeah, you see the airplane going on right there. Oh, sorry, I'm pointing my screen like you guys could see it. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm sure we'll see that in the movie any minute now, right? All the planes going around, some kind of disaster movie. They'll be looking at something like this.
Too bad. I see well, it goes very slow, but this is
Yeah,
more or
I
less
can
the
see it.
idea.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, I tried to sell this to real ATCs, but they were not really interested. The problem was that ATC has a very unique ability. That's from drawing a 3D image in his or her head from 2D data, and then project it into the future, and then prevent disasters. Now, this is a very rare ability. So, Simon, it doesn't work. I think you can better stop this. Thank you.
Mahesh is saying, what's the biggest challenge you and your customers found developing for the HoloLens, and what's the biggest barrier to entry?
Well, the barrier to entry for customers is initially the price.
Yeah. How much is a HoloLens?
I think somewhere between $3,000 to $3,500.
Wow.
That's expensive. but then again, for a business that isn't so expensive, for a private person, few exceptions. Also a big barrier to entry that's almost the same is to convince people on sea level that it's not a toy.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
That the price and the to convince them not because if their son or daughter has a PlayStation with a VR head, they think it's a gaming device. I mean, and it didn't help. Microsoft made a very cool game for the HoloLens that you can have to chase aliens coming out of the wall, and I was like, I don't think this is a good idea because that settles the idea. It's a
game.
It's a joke. It's a game.
Yeah. Well, someone mentioned earlier that they made a kind of a correlation with cell phones. You remember back in the 90s or even before that, how freaking big cell phones were, and how much they cost, and how much they cost to even use the dang thing, right? And look at them now. I mean, there's so little. It's a joke.
Yeah, but they're
too
bigger.
Little now.
They get bigger now. I mean, I remember that the CEO of my first company had a cell phone like this big, like a gas lighter. Yeah. And now they get bigger.
Yeah, they were getting too small there for a while. Yeah. So that answer your question, Mahesh? What's the biggest challenge developing for HoloLens?
Developing. Yeah. Well, for me, it was like, you have to learn an alien environment that is like Unity. What's Unity? And lots of the samples, like I said, actually teach you a bad way of programming, I think. And that's not strange. Most of the games are made there, maybe get a few fixes and that's it, I think. There is a lot of churn, both in code and in people in that world. And we make a product, and that needs to be able to be updated, upgraded, and revised. And the next programmer also needs to understand how it works. It's not
I tried to create a Unity app, I think once or twice, and I got into it. I go, no, this is nope, I'm out. I'm gonna have to spend a lot of time learning this if I want to do this.
Well, it took me about 10 days, I think, before I was like, okay, now I Yeah, I'm always the one. I don't know if it works for you, but if I try to follow a training or I buy a book, I always get to like the third chapter, and then I get impatient and I start doing things
You
and
start
just
doing stuff. Yeah.
messing around. I see another question.
Yeah. Is it possible to predict the future using this technology as it is having artificial intelligence interaction?
I'm not really
I'm
sure what.
not too sure either. I think it's maybe combining artificial intelligence with the HoloLens.
Is that the question?
Uh,
Oh, anyway, if
yeah.
you can do stuff with that because
Yeah.
I already did. I made a fun demo application once that actually used custom vision. You know, the HoloLens actually has also a normal webcam in, and
Hmm.
I used it to load a model on it, and that's simply .network. I made a lot of pictures of my toy airplanes or my model airplanes I built as a kid in the 80s, you know, when that was a thing, you know. Maybe you can see them here in the box. You see the
Yeah. Yeah.
X-15 and the stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I put a lot of these pictures on all kind of places, and then I um, checked if the HoloLens could recognize them using artificial intelligence that work, or actually
Oh,
machine learning. Sorry,
machine learning. Yeah.
that work. And custom vision also allows you to see where in the picture it is, and then you use a little trick. You shoot a ray, as they call it, through the center of the picture, and when it hits something, that's probably the airplane. And that
Hmm.
worked pretty. So I could label things in 3D. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Only then you learn the fun things about. Yeah, indeed, Alexander. Legacy code is a joy to work with. Yeah,
I bet.
I can tell you
Um,
about that one. The fun thing is then that you learn the fun things of machine learning. It worked fine. It worked very good until I put my airplanes on the black desk there.
no, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that turned out that I had trained my model to recognize airplanes standing on a blue background. My chair is blue, the floor here is blue, and
Mhm.
the bed here, the guest bed here is also blue. So it worked,
Mm.
provided the background was blue. This is this typically the fun things you get when you play with machine learning. So yes, you
Yeah.
can indeed integrate. And yeah, legacy code I always call Unity the king of legacy, of the king of breaking changes.
Yeah.
If you upgrade a point version, you can basically expect to step in a minefield.
Oh,
That's
that's too bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a different world where it comes
Yeah.
from.
Yeah.
Yet again, I applaud Microsoft for taking or latching onto something that's more or less standard instead of, well, making up something for
Something
themselves
brand
again.
new.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
has no adoption at all, because now
Yeah.
you could tap into a vast reservoir of knowledge that was already there,
Yeah. Yeah.
and yeah, you only have to put in the enterprise mindset. So
Yeah. Well, we have to wrap it up.
okay,
I really, because I got to do the 256 seconds thing, which I think is about 4 minutes or so. And
okay,
I don't want Simon yelling at me that, I've gone over time and stuff like that, because he likes to do that. So I really appreciate you being on the show. I'm sorry we only had about 45 minutes or so, because this is a big topic that I think is like I said, in its infancy, and will become bigger and bigger in the future, in the near future, I think. And so
yeah,
those of you who enjoy writing that stuff, go check it out. You've got all the tools. You have Visual Studio. You have all the tools you need, right? So
you
go
can
check it out.
download the personal version for Unity for free.
Yeah, yeah. So, one of the things I ask all my guests before they leave is, and I'm interested to see what you're going to say is,
Oh God.
Besides coding, what do you like to do for fun?
For fun, that may be a surprise. I actually like to muck around with plants. I'm an avid gardener.
Mm,
I grow veggies and ornamental plants just for fun.
mm,
And not the veggies that the Netherlands is infamous for,
yeah.
like wheat. No, I don't.
That. Okay.
Stuff for eating, like cucumbers and
Yeah, yeah,
beans and stuff, and strawberries and fruits.
yeah. Well, see, I don't have a green thumb at all. I kill everything I try to grow. So, um, so That's cool. I wish I could do that. Well, I wish I had a yard to do it. I don't even have a yard, so it's not
But
much
you
I
live
can
in
do.
New Mexico. You can grow oranges.
Yeah,
or bananas.
Yeah. So thanks again. Thanks for being on the show. And if you want to hang out and see the numbers at the end, just hang out and we'll talk after the show is completely over. So thanks again.
I hope you liked it.
Yeah, it was great.
Awesome.
I loved it. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye, everybody. No, I'm not leaving. You are. I'm sorry. What am I talking about? Well, that was really awesome. I was happy to see all those videos. There's one video, the one with the CPR, I didn't see all the way through. So it's pretty cool stuff. And like I said, I think this is going to be in our future. So it's an important thing to, look at or think about, especially you younger developers out there. And so go check it out. Well, got to get a HoloLens first, I guess. So as usual, everybody wins a free real copy of CodeRush from DevExpress. CodeRush from DevExpress is the only refactoring tool I've ever used in Visual Studio because I love it. And it, especially right now, because all I'm doing is fixing other people's code, it really helps me to be a more productive software engineer, especially fixing other people's code. It really helps out. Excuse me, it really helps out with that. So go download it, devexpress.com/dotNetDave, and get your very own dotNetDave copy. So it's free. It's real. It's not fake. So now I'm going to do something a little different. It's going to be hard for me to do a new code rules every single week because it's more of a commentary about something I'm upset about usually and where I want to make better. And so I decided to bring back two of my other feature shows I used to do. One is called 256 Seconds with dotNetDave, where I talk about some coding thing. And I try to do it in 256 seconds, but actually, when I was looking at some of the older episodes, I certainly didn't do that. And, Simon knows that, I have a problem shutting up. And so are you texting me? Oh, no. So I'm going to show an older one because stupid OneDrive took 5 days to move a video from my phone to my computer, and I didn't have time to get it done. So I'm going to show one of the older 256 seconds with dotNetDave, which I like. So go for it. Welcome, geeks, to another new Code Rules. If you watched new Code Rules before, you know that I rant in this segment. But today is going to be extreme ranting. And here's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm convinced that far too many .NET software engineers do not understand how memory management works when it comes to disposable objects. This is a serious issue that all .NET developers must be concerned with. And managers and dev leads, you really, really need to be concerned about this. This year, I don't know what happened. Simon, what happened to the video? You don't see it in the folder? Well, there you go. Stupid OneDrive, not uploading things. I put it in there like 3 days ago, and OneDrive hasn't uploaded it. So sorry about that, everybody. So we're not going to see 256 seconds this week. I'll show it next. Well, actually, I'm not going to show a video next week because we're going to have a long show. So the next week, I'll show a 256 seconds. And that way I can get a brand new one done for you guys. And so anyway, live TV, that's the way it goes. All right. So I think the show is pretty much over. Yep. So make sure you watch my first panel show next week. I'm calling it the All Agile Show, where I'm going to have 4 other people on the show with me, including a certified Scrum Master. So we're going to talk about Agile, how we feel about it, how we feel the direction's going, maybe things that can be improved, of course. And so it's going to be a fun show, especially because I'm just going to be herding 4 other software engineers to try to put on a show. So this should be interesting. And just to let you know, those of you still around watching, is I plan to do more of these if this one goes well. So I already have a couple new shows, new panel shows in mind. So make sure you come out next week and check it out. Please be safe with COVID. We're still dealing with this, unfortunately. And, winter is here for, a lot of us. And, it's probably going to be a little tougher winter than we're used to. Maybe not as tough as last year, but we still have to be careful out there. And please stop being mean to other people because they want to wear a mask and things like that. Come on. Really? This is freaking stupid. So let's just get through this together. This is something we're all dealing with, not 1 or 2 people or a little group of people. So anyway, thanks again for watching. Make sure you send any requests, comments, guests you want me to ask on the show to Rockin Code World at CSharpCorner.com. And I'll see you next week for the panel show.